In this video I am going to show you how to make a quick embellishments holder. Hello, I am Tinne from Victoria Designs, and if you like all things nature and all things writing combined, you're going to love our Nature's Ink kit. Botanical images, writing tools and more. And I made a tutorial with these printables to create a quick embellishments holder. You can use it separately or put into a journal if there's room enough. And if you remember from a few videos ago, I made a tutorial to make a collapsible envelope with 3 printables. That envelope fits nicely into this holder, and even 2 if you like. It's still available, so if you don't have that envelope yet, just go on over to that video, the link is below. Of course, you can use other printables and papers to create this embellishment holder as well. And you can use the printables from this Nature's Ink kit to create a lot of other craft projects as well. We have a list of over 70 projects that you can make with this kit. So if you like to make this or any other project with our Nature's Ink kit, you can check it out in my Etsy shop. The link is below for more information. And now let's make this. Enjoy! So I have everything here that I need to make this embellishments holder. Plus of course a few tools, scissors, glue, tape, etc. But you don't need that much more. Okay, let's start with the base. I am using for the base pieces 230 grams cardstock. And you only need 2 parts. The first part I am going to score at 4.5 inch and 4 3/4 of an inch. And this should also be a 4.5 inch piece. And the second piece I am going to score at 1/2 inch. This is going to be a tab. And 3/4 of an inch. That's it. That's the scoring. I've said it wrong before, but I really think now that's all the scoring. Good, let's fold these. And since this is going to be a tab, I'm going to slightly miter the corners a little bit. There. Just make sure you don't cut into this little spine piece here. And then I am going to put some double-sided tape on top of the tab here, right next to that fold. You can use regular glue as well, as long as it sticks. There. And now place this sticky side up, take your other part and glue it on, not like this, but with the folds going up. So we get a bit of a zigzag, and line up the top and bottom and glue that right next to that fold. And now we have a zigzag fold here, like this. Okay. This piece is going to be the back, and I'm going to find the center. And the center of 8 1/4 is 4 1/8, like this. Well, actually, I should have put that mark a little bit closer to the edges, not super close to the edge, but both edges. Like here. The outer edge, the outer 3mm 1/8 of an inch will show, so make sure you don't put anything on there. Oh, and something I almost forgot is to ink the whole edge, outside and inside. This is optional, but I'm gonna do it. It's easiest if you do it if all the parts, both parts are stuck together. Choose the color that you like. I'm using Vintage Photo Distress ink. Anything brown or anything. Look, you can make this with other printables and papers as well, and with other colors of cardstock, and adjust the color of your ink, if you're using ink, to that color palette, of course. Now the other side as well. So I have my marks here already, and I'm going to put some tape right on top of those marks, because I'm going to attach my ribbon to that. Just a piece that's, I don't know, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, something like that, on both sides. I'm using fairly thin tape. This is 6mm, 1/4 inch, because my ribbon is that width as well. But you can use glue instead, and or even wider tape, because, well, it will be covered anyway. So, and now I'm going to put these ribbons on top. These are both each 10 inches. Like that. Whatever happens under here, it will be covered up. No worries. And the covering up we're gonna do right now. So each of these 6 parts here will get an equally sized panel on top. And I cut some of the panels from the kit, from the paper pack of the kit. Some are patterns, some have beautiful designs. The panels where I'm not going to glue any pockets on top, or hardly any, I am going to use the ones with the beautiful designs. And the panels that I'm actually going to glue some pockets on top, I chose a panel because that just works a little bit better. Just a tip. Okay, and on the back, I want this one. I already inked all the edges, and I'm simply going to use my glue stick. You can definitely choose to use wet glue instead. It'll take a bit longer to dry, but it'll last longer. You can also use double-sided tape again. Okay. And now I can just glue this on top of these ribbons. Here, so this will be the back. And then on this side will come a corner pocket. So underneath I chose a paper that has some beautiful designs there, but not too many here. So it will still work with a corner pocket here. So that's why I chose this one. But there are so many possibilities. Just always keep in mind what you're gonna put on top. Okay. Now, on this side, I am going to put 3 pockets, which is quite a lot. So that's why I chose to put here a simple pattern, or simpler pattern. You can also just use colored cardstock there that matches the kit you're using. Okay, other side. This part is going to be the front, and on the front I want this one. Keep in mind with the front that there's gonna be a bow in the center on top, so make sure that the design you choose for that look will work with a bow in the center, so that you don't have a very important element here and you're gonna cover it up with a bow. Okay, and then here I am going to use another pattern, because remember this one? This one's going to go on top right here. If you're saying, hey, I don't remember anything, well, this was a freebie from a few weeks ago. It's still available. I added a link in the description below to go to there. It shows you how to make this one. It's a collapsible envelope. You will see later. And I'm going to glue that one on top here later. And for the last panel, you can, if you want, if you think it's not going to be too big, make an extra one and glue that one in here. Just make sure to also glue it that way so the bows are not in each other's way. But I think this is going to be thick enough once it's filled, so I'm going to just glue this panel here. But if you're going to add 2 of these free collapsible envelopes, I would suggest to use a pattern again. So, because if you see it like this, the design is blocked off, you know. Okay, so let's turn around again. Let's put that corner pocket here. Now, of course, it's not really a corner pocket yet. I'm going to make a mark on the back. I'm gonna flip it around and I'm going to make a mark. 3/8 of an inch, oh no, sorry, 3/4 of an inch from that corner here. You can see it, 3/4 of an inch from that corner, and also 3/4 of an inch from this bottom corner. There. If you're using scissors, you can connect those, draw a line, and cut them out. But I'm just going to put it under my paper trimmer and just cut it off. So it looks like this now. And when I turn it around, I can glue it in like this. So turning it around again, and I'm using the thin double-sided tape. And I'm going to stick that on the bottom and the side. And then anything you put in there will really hold very well. That's why I love this way of making pockets. Everything you stick in there will actually hold very well. I'm going to remove that backing. Well, I could have put the panel on top already, but yeah, I removed the backing, so I'm first going to stick that in there. Really doesn't matter, but you can add the panel first. Oh, what I am going to do first is quickly add an inked border. Couldn't do that before because I still have to cut it. There. And then I'm going to stick that right next to that fold. Well, you can stick it on top of where the panel begins, but I'm actually going to, so I have more room in my pockets, putting it right next to that fold here and line it up with the bottom. Like this. There. And I cut this from a journal page as a panel for the top of this corner pocket, but I still have to cut it, so I'm going to turn it around again. But instead of making a mark 3/4 of an inch, I am going to make a mark 1/2 an inch from this corner and this corner. Otherwise it won't work. There. And then if you're using scissors, again, connect those two marks like this. Oh, let me show you how to do it, just in case. Connect those and then cut this out. But I'm just going to use my paper trimmer. So you can make this and glue this on before putting the whole thing in there if you like. And that fits perfectly in there. See? And now I want 3 pockets in here, so I can put a lot of little things in there, but I want them all to have a notch. Now, before I'm going to do that, I'm going to see if they're not too wide, because I'm going to place these right next to that fold, and I might need to cut off like a tiny little bit so that they don't stick out. And you can measure that by putting them against that fold and then closing them. Yeah, see? There's like a sliver, see, that I need to cut off here. And I'm gonna do that with all 3 of them. So I cut off the tiniest bit and now they should work. You can always make these smaller so they fit completely on top of this panel. And you can see the panel here, but then your pockets are gonna get really small. So that's a choice you need to make. Okay. And then I am going to find the center. Okay, I'm gonna make a mark on the back. Yeah, I'm gonna make that mark on all 3. And I have here a notch punch that I'm going to use. But you can definitely use half a circle or nothing. You don't need a notch. You can also wait until you've cut off the what am I saying? You can also wait until you've glued on the little panels on top, because I'm going to cut those out as well. But I like to save my punches a little bit, that I don't have to punch through too many layers at once. So I like to do it in 2 steps. Okay. So I cut these panels and I'm quickly going to glue them on top. One of each. And I cut them out of, I think all out of pieces from the journal pages. Yeah, I think I did. Just let dry before punching out the rest. Okay, let's see if the first one's dry. Yep. So now I'm going to cut this piece out again. Because of that mark, I can really line them up very well. And then I can just finish this edge there. If you're not sure, you can always also look at the back like this. Then you can really line those two up. There, and what I need to do now is just put some small double-sided tape on all 3 edges, so the bottom and the sides. There, and then you can determine an order to put them in. Okay, and then first one I'm going to put right next to that fold again and line it up with the edges and the bottom. So the other ones I'm going to just leave about 1/2 inch in between the pockets. Make sure it's straight. And my 3 pockets are ready. And then turn around, and the only thing I need to do now is glue this one in. Now, if you make this freebie and you really want to glue this one in, you don't need to attach the optional back piece. It's on there, so I'm just going to pretend it's not there. But if you don't want to glue it in, you can also make another pocket like this one, and it will just fit in there. So that's another option. Okay, I am pretending there's no back design here. Well, it doesn't matter at all, actually. And I'm just going to put some double-sided tape all along the edge here. And some glue in the center, or just use wet glue all around. You can also use wet glue for these pockets, but make sure you have a very fine nozzle and really make a very fine bead of glue along the edges. The finer, the more room you have in your pockets. Okay. Make sure your tape sticks. And then some more glue in the center. I am going to put it in the center. I am eyeballing it. I think it's all right. Okay, measure if you need to. Let's make this bow a little prettier. Okay, and it's ready. Our beautiful embellishment holder is ready. And this embellishment holder, if you have a big pocket in the front or the back of your journal, you can actually put it in there as well if you have enough room. And then you can keep, while you're journaling, your spare ephemera and embellishments in here. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's the front, the back, opens like this. And then if you open it like this, you can put some ephemera in here. And if you open it like that, you have this pocket that's collapsible from the freebie. You can also give this project as a gift with beautiful pictures of someone. There, let me close it again. Voila, this was a quick tutorial. I hope this will come in very, very handy. If you want a sheet with all the measurements, there are not that many, but still, you can opt in via the link in the description to get them. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Thumbs up if you liked it, share it with your friends if they might like it, and I wish you a very crafty day. Bye-bye.